Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for the opening race of the F1 season for Real Amateur Racing. I am your host, J2 Quick. I'm both doing the commentating and the cameras today. So if things are a little bit jumbled to start, bear with me for just a little bit, but we're going to get this show on the road today. We are streaming quali and the race. Currently spectating Base Canyon, but if we move over here to, let's see who is on track at the moment. We have Josh Fulton here going into the pits. He is preceded by another driver, Sebastian, who a little bit of a lockup into T1. That could have just been something from the effect. Oh, and a big snap over the steer there for Sebastian into that opening sector of T1. Today we are at Miami in the F1 cars, and it's shaping up to be quite a race. I will say, just noting from some of the drivers that I've spoken to, a lot of different strategies going on today. Jawa seeming to be one of these drivers out here in front, looking quite quick. I've got to say, right off the rip, we have an absolutely excellent livery from Jawa here in the FTK livery. Free the kids. Go check it out if you don't know anything about it. We can provide you plenty of context at another time. Jawa with FTK Racing along with his teammate El Dorito. And he's the last one on track as he comes flying in, and the practice session is ended. Now any minute here we will begin qualifying for these drivers. Just looking at the practice results for today, like I said earlier, things are going to be shaping up to be quite a quick race. Jawa's best lap in practice being a 1:22.3, a whole 0.6 in front of the rest of the field. So we'll see if that translates into race pace, or if maybe Jawa's looking for that one lap pace and thinks that qualifying is going to be a little bit more important. Going from bottom to top, we also have Marcus Gilbertson setting a 1:28 at the bottom of the field, along with Mogo in P10 setting a 1:25.8, Josh Fulton with a 1:25.5, Allen with a 1:25.0, Sebastian with a 1:24.8, Matthias, I think that's how you say it, if it's not, flame me later, with a 1:24.6, Brett with a 1:24.5, Base Cannon with a 1:23.7, another driver out there to really pay attention to. We also have Clutch Russ. If you tuned in for the 4-hour Nordschleife Endurance, you would have seen Clutch Russ claw his way into the top 10 there. An absolutely exemplary performance there from Clutch Russ with a 1:23.3. And then Articulate Fox with a 1:22.9, already reading Jawa's time. Now, mind you, these are just the practice results, so we don't know who's out here running with more fuel or less fuel. So that will be quite interesting to note as we come into qualifying. Some of the first drivers out on track here as we attempt to find them will be Alan Montes, one of the first drivers out on track. Steaming out of the pit lane comes Alan, and another beautiful livery, if I do say so myself. Quite nice livery. Alan there in the Porsche F1 team then as well. Alright, there we go, Jawa. Hopefully my mic is fixed now. Hopefully that's a little bit louder. Tell me if that's too loud or if that's not loud enough then, as we will keep going here for quali. What an absolutely electric opening performance with the commentary. My mic was too low. Better? Alright, thank you, Anaya. Hopefully it is not too loud. If it is, let me know. I can always switch it around. But we have Alan Montes here beginning to start a flying lap. Clutch Russ on the field as well. Another absolutely beautiful livery, if we could get a good camera of it. Flying down into that deep braking zone there. Seeming to keep the car quite steady, a little hesitant on the throttle maybe, but relatively smooth all around. As we look for a driver on a flying lap right now, we have some drivers crossing the line. Oh, and that's Josh Fulton into the wall with a big snap of oversteer. Will he recover? It seems like he just might, and he'll be okay getting out of the first section there. That'll ruin his lap as he clambers over the curb as well. And hopefully that doesn't hold him back too much. We have Brett Anderson here with a purple Sector 1, green Sector 2. Let's see if he can make that up in Sector 3 as he just really lets that car coast. Has to be so gentle on the throttle. I've seen these cars, as we saw just a second ago, oversteer with the slightest dab of throttle. So we will have to be very, very careful with that today. As we see Jawa with a purple Sector 1, one of those serious drivers to look out for. Green Sector 2 here, but absolutely flying. Brett Anderson there with what seemed to be a little bit of a lockup in that final deep braking zone as he crosses the line. Brett Anderson, Alan Montes with a 126, Brent Anderson with a 124.7. As we go to Sebastian here into this braking zone, he's got 2 green sectors. Let's see what he can do in the final. Base cannon with a purple middle sector and another absolutely beautiful livery, racing for, I believe, Venus CRD along with Chloroform. So that will be quite a team to look out for if you're looking for some good on-track action there. As we had Base Cannon, seems like he came into the pits, wanted to abort that lap, didn't want to see the end of it. As we move on to Articulate Fox here, coming through final corner. And it seems that he may have been on an outlap, or maybe he had invalidated that lap. Let's move on to Sebastian. Sebastian going down the long straight here. Let's see what he can do, what Sebastian's able to muster out of this car as he moves for 2 sectors of improvement. A little bit of a lockup there. Might not have gotten the entrance into that corner that he wanted. Dipping nicely through the chicane, followed by Jawa there. Will he have a little bit of pressure in his mirrors? He knows Jawa's fast today. Let's see what Sebastian is able to do here. Sebastian flying into the deep braking zone here. Gets on the brakes nice and strong. Lets off, rolls through the corner quite nicely. A decent exit by Sebastian. Very, very gentle on the throttle, and he goes into the pits. Doesn't want to see this lap through. As we jump over to Jawa. Let's see, this looks like it will be the start of a fast lap for him. Looks like he was on his out lap there behind Sebastian. Articulate Fox looking to maybe set a lap time, I think so, with a purple Sector 1, and he goes fastest. So the 1:23.8 currently pole for quality. They've got about 9.5 minutes left or so. Enough time to set a good lap, but not enough time to meander around the track too long and set yourself up for a little bit of pressure in that final part of qualifying. It's going to be a tough day out here today as we have the other Venus CRD driver, Chloroform, making his way down the back straight. In front of him, he's got El Garrido, another driver to look out here for today. Going into the last braking zone, a little bit wide at the apex there. Wouldn't have been able to turn that car in just as much as he wanted. And he crosses the line. Oh, and it looks like he doesn't set a sector. He might have been on an outlap there. Not 100% sure. We have Articulate Fox here with another fastest middle sector. An absolute beautiful livery as well today from Articulate Fox. But Jawa steals that provisional pole by almost a second there with a 1:22.9, the fastest last sector there from Jawa with a 42.9 in that last sector. With the look at Articulate Fox's last sector, a 43.3, so Jawa making up a large amount of time in that last sector there. Moving on to Mogo Oz just as he dips into the pit lane there. Here we have Matthias. A little bit of a lockup. I fear some of that may just be some of the visual effects. Might not be quite the lockups we think we're seeing, but a wiggle there for Matthias as he dips into the chicane. Hopefully he gets a decent exit onto that back straight. We'll see what he can do. El Garrido now crossing the line with a 1:23.8, quite a lap from El Garrido. That'll put him in the top 3 at the moment. Ooh, and a little bit of a spin there from El Garrido just at the end of the pit exit, but he teleports to pits, gets out of the way of the other drivers. Let's find somebody else on a lap. Brett Anderson looking to cross the line here soon. No, he's going into the pits. That would have been an in lap for Brett Anderson. And Base Cannon with a 1:23.9. That'll put him in the top 4. He'll be fairly happy with that result, but you'll know he'll be pushing for more time. Let's look at Marcus Gilbertson. It looked like he went a little bit wide there. Not 100% sure if, yeah, cutting a little bit of the track there. He may be on an in-lap or an out-lap. I'm not completely sure. Let's move on to Alan Montes coming out of the pits here. So he'll have to do a out-lap before he can do a full quali lap. Things are getting a little bit close here as they're getting down to about 6.5 minutes now. Not much more time on the clock. Josh Fulton is, where is this? Into the chicane, it looks like. No, I believe he's somewhere towards the back of the track right now. There's the chicane, now going into the chicane. We have Chloroform setting a 1:26.8. Josh Fulton onto the back straight now. Just in front of him, can't quite see that name of the driver just in front of him there. El Garrido just in front of Josh Fulton. Possibly helping a buddy out, getting him the straight. Oh, but it looks like he just got a little bit too close to El Garrido with a little bit of a spin there. At the end of the straight, just got on those brakes just a little bit too hard, it seemed. I will wonder if that would have been an outlap for Josh, but he brings it into the pits. So I'm not sure if that he was on a lap or not. Thighs keeping that car nice and wide, dipping into the apex nicely there. As we have Marcus Gilbertson, I wonder if he's getting ready to size up a lap here for us. Let's see if we can stay on board with him. A lot of drivers out there looking to set fast laps now in the last part of quali. Just under 5 minutes left. Right now, provisional pole, we have Jawa with a 1:22.9, currently on pole by almost an entire second and some change. Jawa is. So, oh, sorry, I'm actually referencing Base Cannon's time. Josh is on pole just under a second there, about 0.8 or so. Marcus now making his way onto the back straight here. Gets into that braking zone. Dips nicely, bounces a little bit over that apex curve. Jawa with another fastest time of a 1:22.7. It looks like he may just run away here in qualifying. We'll see if anybody can try to stick it to Jawa today. Oh, looks like Marcus just had a little bit of oversteer there, maybe a little bit too much speed at the apex. Moving down the straight now into the final large braking zone here at Miami. Let's see what he can bring us. A 1:27. We know he has more pace than that. Let's see what he can bring us, folks. Onto the main straight now. Let's see what he brings. Ooh. And it looks like he brought us a 1:27.9 there. Not quite fast enough to go past his last lap. Base Cannon looks like he may be coming out of the pits now for his lap. As we see Jawa now moving down the main straight. Now he could be on an in lap. He did just set his fastest lap. But in front of Jawa, we have Chloroform. Oh, and El Garrido sets P2 with a 1:23.1. That's a nice time from Garrido towards the end of qualifying here. Articulate Fox, P3. Looks like he has 2 gray sectors, so he may not be on a lap. Sebastian Blue here dipping into the last braking with some drivers behind him. He's going to have to get a hurry up here with this lap. I believe Cross with a 1:25.4, I believe, yes. As he sets off, it looks like he'll still be pushing, so he's looking to set a lap as well today. Some drivers behind him on the main straight. See if we can find out who that is. Base Cannon on the main straight here, going into the braking. Ooh, a little bit of a lockup from Base Cannon. I wonder if this will be a fast lap for him. But he's got 2 grays. It may have been an out lap. Yeah, I believe that's the end of Base Cannon's out lap. So we'll see what he can bring us on track. They're dipping into the turn 1 apex nicely. Trying to stay as smooth as he can with the car. There's some of these longer sections in Miami. Very, very tricky, this RSS car. Lots of power to that rear end with a V12, I believe it is, powering the F1 car today here at Miami. Lots of fast drivers coming across the line here. Set a time. Chloroform with a 1:25.8. We're on board with Base Cannon here, trying to see what he can bring us from P4. Will he steal pole away? Will he go for the number 2 spot? Anything is on the cards. Matthias with a 1:25.5, just beating out Josh Fulton by about 3/10. We'll see if Josh Fulton has an answer to that today. Just 1/10 behind Sebastian Blue, who brings it in with a 1:25.3. So opens that gap up to P9 from Matthias. Just a little bit longer. Base Cannon now on the rear stretch of the track here. Absolutely flying by. Going into the braking zone here. Let's see what he can bring us. Hard on the brakes, very committed. Dipped in that apex real nicely. Looks like he'll have quite a run onto the main straight here. And let's see what time he can give to us today. A 1:23.2. A 1:23.2, so close to El Garrido in that Free the Kids livery, but not quite second, but still a great lap nonetheless. Marcus Gilbertson crossing the line. Didn't seem like he went faster that lap. Looks like he's on his cooldown now. We have Jawa going to cross the line behind Chloroform. Jawa seems like he's slowed down now. Chloroform with a 1:24.7 dips up into the top 10 there. I don't know if he was in there before, but he's definitely there now. Quite a lap from Chloroform. He'll be quite happy with that. Articulate Fox down into the last sector. Let's see, dipping into the pits. So he is done. Just a couple more drivers still on the track. Josh Fulton moving down on the back straight here. We'll see if he's on a lap or if he's looking to dip in. I think he is on a lap with a green sector 1. So we'll see what he can give us. The final sector into that apex very, very nicely. Seems like the drivers have finally got that dialed in today. Not too many people running wide. And crosses the line with a 1:23.9. Josh Fulton into the top 5. Just bumps Clutch Russ out of there. Quite a performance from Josh Fulton. That's quite a good lap there. Base Cannon now finishing up his qualifying. He's going to dip into the pits there. As we look at Mogo, who may still be on a lap. Not sure if this is in or out. Flat out on the back straight either way. And he is into the pits as well. Looks like all of our drivers into the pits. And that will be the end of the qualifying session today. Let's see what we've got. We have P1 Jawa, a decisive P1, I would say, with a 22-7. His closest competitor was El Garrido today in the Free the Kids team. Gotta love them. If you're looking for a team to root for today, you're going to be wanting to root for Free the Kids Racing. El Garrido with a 123-1. Base Cannon following that up with a 123.7. Looks like his best lap. Only had his best first sector. Still something to be asked for in those last 2 sectors, but a good lap nonetheless. That put him P3 on the second row there. Articulate Fox moving in at P4. That's going to be a 128.0 from Articulate Fox. Not a bad qualifying from him. Josh Fulton with a 123.9, kind of closing out that top 5. Solid laps as well. We have Clutch Russ with a... Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I've been looking at the wrong times. But Jawa has a 22.7. Garrido with a 23.1. I believe I had that part right. 23.2 from Base Cannon. A 23.3 from Articulate Fox. 23.9 from Josh Fulton. Clutch Russ with a 24.3. We have Chloroform with the 24.7. Oh, and it's moved into the race here, so I actually cannot see the rest of the qualifying results, but they were up on screen there for you if you were reading them for yourself, as we have 45 seconds to the race countdown, and I'm on the grid, which is absolutely lovely. What a beautiful sight from the transit van there. So hopefully we can get that out of the grid in just a second. Let's focus on some of our front runners there. We have Jawa as they get ready to take off from the grid. A reminder that that transit van will not be racing in today's race. So if you were wondering if it was, I promise you it won't be. Some of the engines revving up, and here come the lights. Let's see. And it's lights off and the fight's on for the battle at P1. We got to get rid of the transit van. We have Jawa going into turn 1. A whole mess. It looks like, oh my gosh, I can't even tell what's happening, to be honest. It looks like Jawa still might be holding that lead. That could be El Garrido, followed very closely by Base Cannon and then Chloroform. It seems like in P3, a very solid start from Chloroform. Chloroform followed very closely by El Garrido. Let's see, it is Jawa in the lead here, leading Base Cannon. Let's move back. We have Clutch Russ here, slightly separated from that upper pack. Clutch Russ followed closely by Articulate Fox in that purple livery there. As you can see them coming. Clutch Russ with a little bit of pressure behind him. Let's jump up to that front pack one more time. Look at this. Jawa has Base Cannon on the inside. Base Cannon looking for a move, but nothing quite doing there for Base Cannon that time around. Chloroform followed closely by El Garrido. There's a lot of pressure here at this front pack. Oh, and it looks like Base Cannon might have had a little flick of oversteer going into that chicane as they round out to the straight here. Let's see if there's any passes going on. Let's go a little bit further down to Alan Montes, who has a whole lot of pressure from Marcus and Matthias going into the chicane. Look at that. Nearly 3 wide entering the straight there. Absolute. Oh, man, it looks like carnage for... That may have been Josh Fulton going onto the main straight there. Let's get back up to our front runners as we have El Garrido. El Garrido following Chloroform closely. Still Jawa holding the lead from Base Cannon. Sorry as things get a little bit jumbled up here for the start of the race with the times and all that. Most of the drivers should be in a good spot once they cross the line. Josh Fulton, P11 here. Looks like Josh Fulton's been cut adrift from a little bit of that pack. Mogo following Josh Fulton, followed by Brett Anderson as well. Let's move back up the field. Let's take a look at Clutch Russ here. Clutch Russ in a little bit of no man's land already in the beginning of the race. I wonder if there's been a little bit of contact somewhere around here to separate these drivers, or if somebody's had a little bit of a mistake. But meanwhile, the fight for P1 has never been closer. Jawa still followed so closely by Base Cannon, followed by Chris, followed by El Garrido. as they move down the rear straight here. None of these drivers giving anybody an inch. Jawa just a little bit ahead. Base Cannon a little bit ahead of his teammate, but Chris with a little bit of pressure from El Garrido. El Garrido getting nice and deep on those brakes, but nothing quite happening for him on that occasion. El Garrido here in the Free the Kids livery just one more time. Absolutely beautiful livery from El Garrido. You have to love that Base Cannon now with that fastest lap of the session. Coming down here to Articulate Fox. Oh, and Articulate Fox, just as we switch onto him, maybe a little bit of commentator's curse and that rear end stepped out. You saw how easy that can be. Look at this, Sebastian looking to maybe capitalize on Articulate Fox's mistake there. He's going to have a whole lot of momentum coming for him as he gets closer to Articulate. Now let's look at Matthias trying to catch up to the back of, I believe, Alan Montes. But things even closer in 10 and 11th. Look at that. Josh Fulton running away from Marcus Gilbertson. As they move on to the main straight now, a little bit of gap in between them. Coming back up to our front runners. Ooh, and just as we join, looks like Chloroform had a little bit of contact there. Let's see if El Garrido is going to be able to take advantage of that. Moving up the inside of Chloroform. Does he get it? He does. Chloroform. Chris tries to tuck back in. Looks for the switchback of the move on the hairpin. And he does get it. He does get it. He comes out right back in front of El Garrido. These two scrapping nicely for P3. That's a podium spot. Neither one of these drivers want to give it to the other. El Garrido down the inside of Chloroform there into turn 1. Look at that. Oh, and it seems like they've actually... Chris has kept it. Chris has still kept it. I think he held it around the outside of turn 1 there. And oh, Chris with a big slide. Chloroform with a big slide. El Garrido having to avoid. That looked like Clutch Russ. Also having a bit of a moment trying to avoid the slide of Chris there. Yeah, Clutch Russ just collecting his moment. El Garrido now in front of Chris. Definitely. Chris still within about a second of El Garrido. He's not going to be wanting to give that back anytime soon. Looks like Articulate Fox was able to move past Clutch Russ in that little moment that he had there. That gap for 3 and 4 is still quite close, and Clutch Russ still on the rear of Articulate Fox, looking to have some type of battle. We have Alan Montes now following the back of Matthias here. What is he? He's within a second, about a half second away as they go into the... Oh, and it looks like somebody went a little bit deep. That's going to be, I believe, Alan Montes, yes, in the Porsche F1 team. He's followed by Josh Fulton. Josh Fulton's going to be looking at this battle coming up, and he's going to want to get his hands on that position that is just ahead of him. Coming back down to visit. Oh, and we've spectated him, and it looks like Brett Anderson has had a collision with the wall. Oh, Mogo there just squeezing by. Looks like Marcus had to squeeze past that incident as well and do well to avoid that. Very well in those drivers to avoid. Very well in that driver to not cause an incident. Jawa now a little bit wide there. And oh, we have Base Cannon. He's gone off. Spun the rear. The rear just kind of stepped out front of him. We said how easily the rear can go, and it looks like under race conditions that is the case. A couple of mistakes from a couple of drivers today. Base Cannon back on the road. He was lucky to try and keep it pointing mostly in the right direction, as Jawa has now gotten quite a big lead from that. Base Cannon going to be ruining that mistake, but I do believe that Base Cannon will be able to do quite a comeback drive here. This Venus CRD team is not here to mess around this weekend. We know that for sure. There's a little bit of a battle going on here in this fight for P9 really is what it is, as we try to find it here. Actually for P8, Josh Fulton in P8, followed by Alan Montes. There may have been a little switch around of positions here. Look at that, Alan Montes around the outside, but Josh Fulton trying to keep it down the inside. Oh, and it looks like he gets actually tapped from Alan Montes. Looks like Josh Fulton tried to hold it around the inside and wasn't able to. Alan Montes maybe with a tap of the rear there from Josh Fulton. Let's check in on him. He's gotten going back again. Alan Montes now leading the straight. Behind him, Matthias. Looks like there could have been a little bit of contact between those two drivers. May have been that Josh went a little bit deep on the brakes. and there may have been an incident caused by that. This is the closest battle on track, so we're going to keep you on board with this at the moment. Matthias going down the outside of Alan, absolutely sending it. Absolutely great braking there from Matthias, and another beautiful livery. Most liveries here this weekend looking rather good, but look at that. Matthias again having to go down the outside of Alan, and looks like he's, I was going to say doing well to hold it, but he clambered over some of the curves, and he's almost handed that position directly back to Alan. Alan trying to hold on to his position here. He's got a lot of pressure, and he knows that Josh Fulton is there to pick up the crumbs if anybody makes a mistake. This is absolutely gorgeous racing, and these drivers are on the limit. No mistakes are allowed when you're racing this close with other cars, especially not here at Miami, especially not here in these F1 cars. And look at that, Matthias absolutely chasing Alan. Looks like he's gonna get the run down the inside, deep on the brakes there. May have been a little bit of a spin. Let's look at that. Yes, Matthias going a little bit deep. Looks like Alan did as well, and Alan's given that position back to Matthias, but Matthias with a snap of oversteer into the chicane. Look at that, back on the main straight. Josh Fulton getting caught up there by Matthias a little bit. Matthias chasing down Alan again, and Josh Fulton looking to pick up the crumbs from this battle. We said there were no mistakes allowed, and as you can see, they are looking to capitalize off of that. Matthias goes down the inside. Josh Fulton tries to pick his spot, also going down the inside. Look at them. These three absolutely fighting tooth and nail over position. Matthias is the winner out of that corner, followed by Josh Fulton. Alan, the big loser of that battle, but just for now, as they go into turn one, not a second between all of them as they race into the longer corners of Sector 1 at Miami. I mean, this battle, ladies and gentlemen, if this doesn't have you excited, I don't know what will. This is a battle for the ages. Josh Fulton cutting the track there, going a little wide, doing well to keep it on the track there. Maybe Alan having to check up a little bit. Alan going down the inside, and there's contact to Josh Fulton. Looks like he just went a little bit deep, touched the inside of Josh Fulton's car. Josh Fulton doing well to keep it going straight. Let's jump up to them now. Josh Fulton having a little bit of drop from Matthias there due to some of that contact. That is rather unfortunate. As we look at this brewing battle here, I was going to say battle, more of a brewing battle between Sebastian and Clutch Russ. Clutch Russ quite close to the back of Sebastian here. Not quite within slipstream. I don't think quite within DRS range, but something that's going to be brewing up quite nicely here. We had a lot of action packed in the beginning of this race. Things have been going quite well for some, maybe not so well for others. Base Cannon with that big slide. We saw him relinquish that fight for the lead just for now in that slide. Here we have Josh Fulton getting ever closer to Matthias. Once again, these two coming to blows here at Miami. Let's see if something brews right now. Nothing so far from Josh here quite yet. Looking for a mistake from Matthias, looking for some chance to get a little bit of distance, but nothing so far. But crucially, within a second of the DRS range, so he'll have a whole lot of helping. Seems like down this straight, deep braking from Josh there. Matthias holding on, also deep braking, slightly defensive, puts him a little bit out of position here. Josh Fulton looking for a switchback, and you see that there as he tried to get on the throttle. Oh, and Matthias with a big snap of the throttle. Josh Fulton will gladly take that position off Matthias. Matthias having to wait for some of that traffic. Alan coming back through along with Marcus. Let's see. Yep, he's going to have to wait for Brett. Who is that? Brett Anderson as well. Matthias getting back on track now, followed by Mojo. He's going to be looking to gain some positions from Matthias as well due to that spin as we come back to our leader, Jawa, in the Free the Kids livery. I don't know if I've said it once, I've said it a million times, ladies and gentlemen. That is an absolutely beautiful livery. Josh Fulton clambering over the curbs of the chicane here at Miami, steaming down the main straight. We've had so much fighting. We haven't had too much time to talk about strategy here. Some of these drivers preferring that softer tire, that C2. Some out here on the C3. Now we've seen some of these drivers struggling on this C3, C4 tire. A little bit harder. Not going to give you quite as much grip, I don't believe, unless that is the soft tire, which would be probably a great thing for me to know. I actually do believe that the higher the number, the softer it may be, because it looks like that's yellow for the medium. But Jawa here having an absolutely amazing opening stint now. They're on lap 10 of what's going to be 38, ladies and gentlemen. So we're not quite through, or we're not quite halfway through this Grand Prix, but things have already been insanely tense. Let's move down here, down the order. Allen steaming down the main straight there, a little bit behind Josh Fulton. He gained some positions from the spin of Matthias earlier. Allen, quite a strong opening to this race, I have to say, but he got caught up in some of that fight with Josh and Matthias. That was a beautiful three-way fight that we saw just a couple laps ago. I wonder if some of his tire wear, maybe he has a little bit of tire drag, and I wonder if his tires are letting him know that that fighting may have cost him in the first half of the race. As you see there, just a snap of oversteer. Nothing crazy, but he's going to be struggling with that rear end. He did a lot of fighting. Very close side-by-side racing. So it's going to be something to look at as we have Clutch Russ here. Sebastian Blue, he just overtook him in the braking zone. Looks like Clutch Russ has already built himself quite a nice gap. Sebastian Blue clambering over the curbs there, not having the greatest of times. Clutch Russ keeping it nice and smooth from Sebastian. Now Sebastian here within a second. He's going to be looking for some DRS if he can have it. And you see that rear wing is open. Let's get into the braking zone. And whoa, Sebastian with some seriously deep braking there. Possibly almost in the back of Clutch Russ. And look at that, Sebastian struggling with some oversteer as he tries to recover what he left at that last corner there. Clutch Russ making well of his mistake, or making well of Sebastian's mistake. Clutch Russ opening up that gap to what seems to already be on track. What's about 2.5 seconds. So Clutch Russ doing quite well to keep that gap alive and healthy. We see Brett Anderson on the back of Allen now. Allen starting to struggle after this 10-lap stint that he's put in. A little bit of lockup, a little bit of squirm from Allen. Brett Anderson going to be looking to capitalize off of Allen. Allen maybe with some of that battling, as we said in the beginning, could have gotten to him. So we'll see if something's going on for him. Let's look down real quick to P12 and P11. Matthias on the back of Marcus Gilbertson. I'm sorry, I can never remember your last name. I'm trying so hard. So much has been going on. Matthias looking for an opportunity to overtake here. He's all over the rear of Marcus. Let's look down at our P10 and P9 battle real quick just to see if somebody gets deep on the brakes. Nobody does. Nothing quite yet. They're going to be entering that deadly chicane here now. But look at these two side by side. Marcus. Oh, Marcus looked like he got overtaken around the outside by Matthias. Got a little deep on the brakes, and Matthias having a huge contact, almost flipping, doing well to stay on track. Marcus letting him through. Mogo also on the back of this battle, looking to capitalize off some positions. Let's see how it goes here as they go down the main straight. Mogo all over the back of Marcus Gilbertson here. And he is going to, what seems to be, I was going to say he's going to fly past, but it looks like they're still even down the back straight. Now Mogo with a little bit more of an overlap. Marcus just having to try and brake as late as he can. A little bit of lockup. Mogo moving through now as well. On the back of that battle, we have P1 Jawa. He's going to be looking to stay away from any incidents with those back markers. That DHL Jordan Racing team doing well to make good of their opponent's mistakes as they move through the back of the pack. Jawa there going around the outside of the back marker. Jawa having lapped his first opponent of this race. Let's look here at Base Cannon. We haven't seen him in a little bit. Base Cannon in a healthy P2. A little bit of no man's land here. P3 not quite on his tail. P1 far ahead. He's going to have to do some serious work to catch up to that. But if there's anything I know about Base Cannon, that he is deadly in race trim. So we're going to be seeing some good moves from him later in this race. I sure hope. Let's move on to El Garrido. El Garrido here in P4. Another Free the Kids driver in the top 5. Doing very well to keep himself where he is. El Garrido with what seems to be some quite consistent laps this race as well. Steaming down the straight here, this front half. Doing well to keep his position. Also Articulate Fox in an absolutely stunning livery, I have to say. I know I've said it once, but I will say it again. That thing is beautiful. That fluorescent purple, it sticks out so well. So I've got to say, fair play with that livery. He is in the DLRTXTR team. I would love to know what DLRT stands for. That's some information I will probably have to pry out of him a little bit later. Let's look now at another Venus CRD driver, Chloroform here. We know he's racing on a little bit of compromised equipment, but nonetheless, keeping himself in that top 10, a healthy P6, not quite too far behind Clutch Rice. He's got about 3 seconds, plenty of time to make that up as we enter what's going to be lap 15 here for Chloroform, doing very well to keep himself in position. There is some close racing up ahead of Jawa here. Let's try to find out what's going on. Matthias followed by Alan. Alan seemed to have moved himself up a little bit. No, that was actually Mogo who moved past Marcus. So Alan now looking to make a move on that other DHL Jordan driver. Alan chasing down. Let's see if that rear wing opens. Yes, it does. He's within a second. Going to be looking for an overtake here as they get into the braking zone. Let's see what he brings us. And nothing yet. Dipping well into that apex. Has to be so careful on that throttle, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen these drivers get all out of sorts while on the throttle. We've seen it multiple times for many drivers, so it's something you know they're going to have to be very, very wary of. But also something that we're going to have to be very, very wary of is Jawa. Right behind Alan. Alan in a battle of his own here, but he's not going to want to get too caught up with Jawa, and Jawa moves past the back marker, doing very well. A little bit of snap of oversteers he got on the curb there, but doing very well to not lose too much time. But he's also got Matthias in front of him for traffic as well. Alan's going to be sticking onto the rear. Jawi's going to be looking for a little bit of that slipstream, a little bit of that dirty air, but because we're in the straight, it's a good thing. He's going to be getting a nice slipstream. He's going to be wanting Jawa to drag him closer and closer to Matthias to make that overtake easier. These racers out here, ladies and gentlemen, will never give each other an inch as they are looking for every single advantage that they can possibly have in every single turn. Alan doing well to clamber over the curbs following Jawa's line there. Doing very well to keep that rear end happy, getting onto the straight, and you see Jawa just pulling ever so far away. Not quite sure if Matthias is going to be within a second of him. I don't think so. Or sorry, if Alan's going to be within a second of him. I don't think so. So he's not going to get the helping of DRS, but a little bit deep on the brakes. But Matthias having to let Jawa by. So this will shape things up for Alan. Matthias lost a decent amount of time there letting Jawa by, but could have lost more trying to go side by side with him through the first half of the section, as we saw Mogo there, the other DHL Jordan driver. Honestly, he's in a position to strike here as well. If something goes wrong between these two, it would spell misery for his teammate, but it would do well for him. Alan's going to be looking for every opportunity that he can get. Oh, and look at that, another snap from Matthias in front of Alan. Matthias going to be dropping down. I wonder if he'll lose that position of Mogo as well. Alan capitalizing on that. That looked like Matthias behind Alan. Looks like he recovered well enough to keep Mogo at bay. They are teammates, but racing so odd with your teammates. It's the first person you want to beat. It's the last person you ever want to be behind when you go on to the track. These drivers always looking to outperform their teammate, friends or not. Alan clambering over the curbs. But we've seen Matthias bring it back. We've seen Matthias bring back that gap before. So let's see if he can do it again. Not quite within a second here as they cross the line for the DRS. So he's not going to get that helping, I don't think. But his teammate is... Oh, a teammate also not within a second. So he's not going to get that helping. They're in a little bit of a... Not a toe battle. They're kind of giving and taking through the corners, but losing out on the straight as a whole. Matthias still looking at the back of Alan here, and we've seen this before. Matthias making a mistake, crucial to his position, but still staying right behind his enemy and looking to close that gap once again as they come through. And it looks like Alan Montes there with a massive moment. Matthias and Mogo going to be moving through. Let's get on board with... Oh, and that was Mogo as well. Looks like he may have gotten collected by Alan. Very, very unfortunate for the driver there. And it looks like... Let's see here. Mogo may get passed up again by Marcus Gilbertson. Got it right that time. Oh, and another slide from Mogo. That's going to hurt. You know those rear tires are hot. He's got to be so careful. Now he has to wait for all this traffic. And that time made up from those mistakes of his enemies earlier, lost again as he slides. It looks like he has somebody up front for company. Let's try to find out who that is. It looks like Base Cannon now trying to lap Mogo as Base Cannon keeping himself in a nice third position. Actually, it looks like there may have been something going on there because Base Cannon now behind El Garrito in the Free the Kids livery. I don't believe that was the order just a couple of laps ago. Maybe I am mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. I could have sworn El Garrido was carrying it in a P4 or a P3. So maybe a couple of pits from some drivers already at this point in the GP. I say already, but we are around that point now. Just a little bit under half through the race, I believe. Math's not that good, but El Garrido dipping into the pits for his pit stop. Let's see if he cooks his pit box today. He doesn't. A good stop by El Garrido. Let's see now if Clutch Russ will make good of that. But look at that. Chloroform and Clutch Russ going to blows here. Chloroform looking to get past Clutch Russ down the main straight. Let's see who is the big benefactor. Chloroform looked like he went up the inside, but went just a little bit deep. And it's still clinging on to the back of Clutch Russ. But look at that. El Garrido in the back there, looking to capitalize off this battle. Now his tires are going to be a little bit cold, but he is going to be looking to capitalize off the battle in front as they go through the first sector of Miami. Have to be so careful on the throttle. We've said it before. We've said it a million times. Look at this. This battle for P3 is heating up nicely. El Garrido is going to be wanting to heat up those tires nicely and get those into temperature so that he can take advantage of those and move past Clutch Russ and Chloroform, neither of which I believe have pitted today. Oh, and Chloroform with a slide there. Seems like he hasn't pitted because those tires were just begging to let go in the rear. Chloroform with a little bit of a moment there, still nicely behind El Garrido. He's going to be looking to make good off that mistake. He's going to be looking to get some redemption, but it's going to be a tough time. El Garrido's on those brand new tires. He's not going to be wanting to give up anything soon, especially not to a driver who hasn't pitted quite yet. Down into turn one, El Garrido possibly with a little bit of a lock up there, but Chloroform doing well to touch into that apex. Thought he was going to go into the pit lane there for a second, but no, just running that car awfully wide. Garrido on the back of Clutch Russ. I cannot tell if he's within a second yet. Currently he isn't, but if they get into a portion here where those new tires start working for El Garrido, our beloved Free the Kids racing driver, then it could spell a death sentence for Clutch Russ here, preferably by way of a very solid pass, not by contact. That's not how we like to see things here. Let's back it up now. Matthias, P9 here. We saw, I believe there was no, it was the mistake from Allen that we saw earlier. Matthias capitalizing on that. Brett Anderson not too far from Allen as well. Allen seems to be really really struggling at this time. Articulate Fox, not one we've seen for very, very long here. P6 on the back of this battle that's in front of him, which is Clutch Rust, Garrido, and Chloroform still. But look at this, Garrido absolutely flying not too far from Clutch Rust. Let's see what he brings out in the braking zone, ladies and gentlemen. Clutch Rust trying to open that track up all the way. I think Garrido thought about it for a second, but didn't quite have it there today. Base Cannon with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:24.776. Ladies and gentlemen, quite a lap there from Base Cannon, but look at that, Garrido having quite a move down the inside of Clutch Rust. Clutch Rust is going to be looking to swap that back anytime now, sticking right onto the rear of Garrido. Chris still in the clutches of this battle. He's going to be looking to make good off of any mistakes from the drivers in front. Let's see here if the Free the Kids racing driver is able. Oh, and look at that. Just as I was going to say, can he hold off the likes of Clutch Rust and the VW racing team? He's gonna, because Clutch Rust has had a moment coming out right in front of Articulate Fox, looking to pick up the pieces, as we said there. I wonder if Articulate Fox had to check up for Clutch Rust, but let's look at that. Oh, look at that. Articulate Fox down the inside of Clutch Rust. Oh, and Articulate Fox just a little bit too deep on the brakes there, swapping back with Clutch Rust. Both of those drivers had a little bit of moment in the had a little moment in the braking, going through the chicane, and look at that, they touch and they touch again, and Clutch Rust has come off the ground, and Articulate Fox has gotten the short end of the stick there on that one. That one seemed inevitable. I'm not sure if they were ever going to make it side by side through that corner there. Doing well to keep the cars pointed in a straight line, but neither one of those drivers is going to be happy about that. They've lost contact with at least Chloroform in front, no doubt, of Garrido. We know Chloroform to be an absolutely rapid driver, especially in an F1 car. So let's see if he can continue to eke that gap out from those drivers behind, fighting back and forth. Sebastian Blue sitting here in 7th place. He's got Josh Fulton for company, about 6 seconds behind. Not negligible, but something he doesn't need to be too concerned with at the moment. What he needs to do is focus on setting in those good laps, getting his head down, and doing the best that he can. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming into the final laps of the races, lap 22 of 38. Now we're well over halfway, and these drivers are well over half spent, but will they be able to hold on to the end of the race to secure their positions, especially in this top 5? I would say it's quite a close battle. Jawa here maybe a little bit checked out of the lead, but Base Cannon about a pit stop strategy behind, it seems, absolutely flying. He's got the fastest lap of the race. We know that to be true, and it seems that he is doing well to keep the car under control. We've seen Base Cannon be rather consistent so far today. Let's see if he can hold on to P2. I know he'll be thinking about what could have been, but if he stays in this position to the end of the race, it will have been quite a good result. Going down back to some of our boys in the latter half of the race. Alan Montes coming out of the pits now. Look at him. He's going to be looking to warm those tires up and jump some of the guys that are behind him. We do have another driver in the pits. I believe it, yes, is Clutch Rust in the pits right now. He is going to be coming out just behind the lead driver, so I believe that will be Clutch Rust down a lap. Jawa doing an absolute banger of a race today, no doubt about that. Now we saw Clutch Rust in that battle with, I believe it was, who did he get into contact with? I think it may have been El Garrito, possibly. I can't quite remember, but they were going to blow. Clutch Rust deciding it's time to go into the pits. And you know what? I believe it was Clutch Rust and Articulate Fox. Clutch Rust deciding it's time to go into the pits, get rid of those tires, and to get onto that second stint. It's going to be quite a short second stint for Clutch Rust. Let's see what he can do here. Let's move to Marcus Gilbertson. I'm 2 for 2 right now, baby. Let's go. That last name starting to engrave its way into my brain. Oh, and a little bit of lockup there from
Marcus into that deep braking zone right here, right before the chicane. Now, Marcus in slightly a bit of no man's land. It seems like he may just be struggling with those tires, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if he's gone into the pits, but you can see just how much tire wear he's got, how slow he's had to bring that car through the chicane. I'll be surprised to say that Mogo has not gained any time from that, but that could be due to him also maybe not having taken his pit stop as well. Oh, and it looked like just as we left there, it looked like we had Marcus going a little bit deep, but I wanted to move over to Brett Anderson in a solid P10. Absolutely beautiful livery from him as well. Steaming down the main straight as he comes here, and it looks like we have P8 stopped on track. Josh Fulton with a little bit of a spin or something of the sort. Matthias has passed him now. Oh, and that's into the pit lane, Josh. Josh is spun going into the pit lane, so he's coming in now. He won't lose as much time due to him coming into the pit lane, but that won't be how he wanted to end that lap at all. Matthias taking P8 off of Josh Fulton there. Brett Anderson following him quite closely behind. Just as we joined back there, we saw El Garrido going just a little bit wide. Not too shabby from the Free the Kids driver, though. He knew how to handle that, and I think it's due maybe to that livery giving him all the strength that he needs going into the chicane. Look at him clamber over those curbs like they're nothing. The weight of secure and paid for labor not weighing him down today. Speaking of labor that may be a little bit unethical, let's move to chloroform here, moving on to the main straight. Now, our buddy here, Chris, he was a victim of some of that Free the Kids drama, but today he is the victim of nobody. He is a strong P4 just off of that podium, and honestly, the opportunity is still in his hands. He's had an absolutely electric drive today. Garrido with a 25.0, that'll be his best lap for the race, but Chris, chloroform here, in the Venus CRD team, he's done an absolutely beautiful job to put himself P4, not quite maybe maximizing his qualifying, but focusing on that race setup. And I've heard that's something that he said. He's focused on that race setup. He was sure that his race pace was going to be one of the better in the field, and you can see it as he moves through the first sector of Miami, how consistent he has this car, how dialed in he's had it this race. And the fruits of his labor have paid off. As he moves here, he's P4, doing very well to keep himself where he is. I think if he stays here for the rest of the race, he won't be too shabby, but Garrido is going to have to do well to stay away from Chris. Clambering over those curbs once again. He's going to have to make sure that he keeps it nice and tidy. Chris there looking for every opportunity. Base cannon with a little bit of a, oh, and that looks like it may be Articulate Fox. No. Who is that? I can't quite see who that might have been. I'm not sure who just spun in front of Base Cannon, but I thought I saw maybe a little bit of sparks coming out from the wheels there. I will try to find out for you as soon as I can. Looks like there was some sparks coming out the wheels there. Maybe a pop tire. Trying to see who is stopped on track. And there's still spins. Base Cannon with a spin as well. Lots is going on down here. Jawa passing some of that. Let's check in. Believe some of that drama was caused by Alan Montez, if I'm not 100% mistaken. No, I'm not. Montez with a little bit of a spin or a collision with the environment there. Not sure what went wrong for him, but he is dipped into P10, looking to catch up to Matthias, somebody that he's seen on track quite a lot today. And these two racing for position, he is all over the back of him, giving him nothing. Alan Montez looking to overtake. Oh, I'm sorry, actually, Alan Montez is behind Sebastian. My apologies. He's not quite there to Matthias. I thought he had been on the back of that, of I believe the DHL Jordan driver. He wasn't. So I believe he may have lost that position to somebody lapped in front of him. This is Matthias moving on to the back of the main straight now. A P9 has put himself in that top 10. A couple of moments today for Matthias, but overall solid drive. Doing very, very well. This race not quite over yet, though. So don't count anybody out, ladies and gentlemen. Anything is still eligible to happen, that's for sure. Look at this. Chris and Base Cannon have come together. Looks like that mistake from Base Cannon would have cost him. Now Chris on the back of Base Cannon, the two Venus CRD drivers. Ooh, Base Cannon with a big slide out of that corner. He got onto the curb a little bit. Looks like he was able to keep it together, but he's going to have to mind those tires. Those are going to be quite hot after something like that. Chris, like we said, on the rear of Base Cannon. Will they be looking for a move, or will there be some team orders here asking Chris to keep his distance, not to fight Base Cannon? We'll see what the team decides. Going into the deep braking zone right before the chicane here. This is just, I believe, Sector 2, if I'm not mistaken. Or possibly Sector 3, sorry. As they move out of here onto the back straight, Chris, a little bit of tire wear, maybe struggling there with some of that. Just a second and a quarter off of Base Cannon. So no DRS helping quite yet, but it seems like Chris is sticking behind and looking not to fight Base Cannon. They want to drag that Venus CRD team as high as they can. Speaking of teams as high as they can, we have the Jawa and El Garrido team, the FTK racing team, doing very well, looking at a 1-2. That's not quite such a bad result from this team here. We know they put in the laps, and we know they put in the practice, just like the Venus CRD team. And clearly it has paid off. Lap 28 of 38 now, I believe. Jawa now on lap 29. As we move on to the last 10 laps of the GP, the two Venus CRD drivers still sticking near each other, but not fighting today, it doesn't seem. Clutch Russ, a solid P7 for him right now. His best lap being a 25.9. Screaming past us there. And Clutch Russ nailing his way into the top 10 once again today. We saw him do it in the Enduro. Now we've seen him do it in a very high downforce car. Seems to be a well-rounded driver here at Clutch Russ. A great drive from him today. Probably also thinking about what if some of those moments, some of those battles may not have gone his way. But he's done well to make good on what has gone right. Some of the spectators there may be saying hi to you guys as well, along with those track marshals. Wave hi from home if you can. Base Cannon now with the fastest lap of 124.4. He is not playing around today. He was at that 124.7. He's dropped 0.3 off that, looking to take the fastest lap of the race today. Let's dip back to our guy, Alan Montez. In P10, he's in no man's land, and this is often the hardest part of the races, where you're not directly racing anybody very near you, front or behind, but your job is to still put your head down, complete those laps, and do what you can to continue to bring your race home and get the best result possible to you. I have some comments here saying maybe base racer of the day. I would say he's probably got quite a chance. Base doing a very good job to secure himself a P3 and doing his best. Looks like we had Articulate Fox there just coming out of the pits there. He's behind Alan Montez. That'll be lap traffic for Articulate Fox here. And Articulate Fox, another absolutely beautiful livery. Looks like he's got a wolf on the side of that thing. I'd actually love to take a view. So let's look at that beautiful livery. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do a livery. That fluorescent purple, that fluorescent, I don't even know what that could be. Turquoise, whatever you want to call it. That is quite beautiful with the Lotus sponsorship as well. You can't complain about that, ladies and gentlemen. That looks quite good. Look, and he's got his wins marked down there as well. I mean, what type of a driver wouldn't? Absolutely beautiful livery from him today. I hope to see more of that come the later stages of this series. Look at this. We have Articulate Fox right behind him. We have Clutch Russ. They're not too far apart now at this stage, and I believe just in front of all of them is Sebastian. And that'll be a race for the ages now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I will double check here. But I believe that Clutch, Russ, and Sebastian both sporting, yes, the VW Racing team. So that puts Articulate Fox in a VW sandwich, which is going to be a little bit of a tough spot. Looks like Clutch Russ maybe fell back just a little bit there. But Sebastian having to do well to run away from Articulate Fox. He doesn't want any trouble in that regard, and he's going to be looking to avoid that at all costs. Oh, and it looks like maybe, oh, that looked like Sebastian clipping the wall. Maybe that might have been maybe that might have been Articulate Fox going into the back of him. A little bit of contact there. Looked like there was first contact with the wall. I'm not 100% sure there. The angle was a little bit off for us. But look at that, Sebastian, big losing out on that occasion. And his teammate, Clutch Russ, directly behind him. Now, we'll see if there's some more team orders there. Look at that, Articulate Fox, a big loser there. But into the braking zone. Ooh, Clutch Russ easing right up to the rear end of Sebastian. And a moment there for Clutch Russ, but he does well to keep it in. Again, not sure if there's going to be some team orders here, ordering these two to keep it clean, or if we will see a little bit of inter-team battle here today at Miami as we close into the last 6 laps of the race. And look at that, Jawa, the leader of the race, coming out of the pits once again, I believe, doing a little bit of a two-stopper. And he is already going to be looking to take off from these two. And these two going side by side, the VW Racing team saying all caution to the wind. Look at how close they get there as they needle their way through the first sector at Miami. But they're going to be losing time to Articulate Fox this whole way. Articulate Fox going to be looking to be the big suitor of this battle here. Let's see how they go down into the braking zone there. Sebastian looks like he lost out to Clutch Russ in that particular braking zone. And it looks like he's going to be losing out to Articulate Fox any moment here. Let's hop on board with him. Easing right up to the back of Sebastian. Now he should wait for this DRS, but he might not. Let's see. He stayed behind just as he got it, so he'll get the helping. I'm not sure if they were in a second in Clutch Russ. I don't think so. So no DRS for Sebastian. Let's see if Sebastian decides to come back down the inside. He doesn't. Articulate Fox taking that position right back off of Sebastian. Now let's see if he's going to go get Clutch Russ. Ladies and gentlemen, it's winding down here at the Miami GP, but the action is not. Articulate Fox looking to strike on Clutch Russ. Once again, he's going to be looking to make up for whatever happened just a lap ago. Ladies and gentlemen, it is heating up once again, all over again. Very odd how you can take these different drivers and different setups and different strategies. Ooh! I was going to say you could do all that and you could keep the racing close, but Articulate Fox having a massive moment that he just couldn't seem to ever collect or get rid of. And he's spun the car around and he's hit the wall as well. He needs to be careful. He doesn't want to pick up that damage, and he doesn't want to heat those tires up too much. Base Cannon with another fastest lap of the race, a 1:23.9. Base Cannon is flying in the last half of the race, and he's not too far off of El Grito. We'll see what he can do into the very ending stages of the race. We'll see if he is a last lap legend or not. Articulate Fox now seems to have gotten himself under control. A couple of moments for him there. Alan Montez moving down the back straight. keeping himself in that top 10 despite some of the things that we saw happen with Alan Montez today. Overall, I think that's quite a good result for him. I think he'll be rather pleased with that. Again, thinking of what could have happened. But Jawa, look at that, responding to Base Cannon with a 23-8. Jawa's got some pace in hand now. He's taken that pit stop. It seemed like he had that pit stop gap to P2, and he's taken that opportunity to go ahead and pull a Max Verstappen. He's stopped, and he's gone, and he set the fastest lap. Look at those soft tires on Jawa's car. That red tying in very well with the purple and also the red gloves. Jawa with a tap of the wall there, but nothing going to arrive for him. Now let's not count out Base Cannon towards the end of the race here, because Base Cannon very, very close to El Garrido. Garrido could probably only make about one mistake, if even, to stay ahead of Base Cannon. That's not going to be something easily done, if I do say so myself. Base Cannon still absolutely electric around the track today, doing a very, very good job. Back marker behind him. He needs to keep his head in front and try and set those laps. Hopefully he can look for a mistake from Garrido. Looking back at a bit of a train that we've got here, we've got Clutch Russ, followed by Sebastian, who I believe is followed still by Articulate Fox, who is behind the back marker of Alan Montez in the Porsche Racing Team. Articulate Fox doing well to move around that back marker. Now Jawa with a 1:23.6. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if Base is going to be able to hang on to this fastest lap or not. Man, look at the way that Jawa is throwing that car around. You can tell he just feels in tune, and we haven't seen much of Jawa after the first part of the race. That's because he's absolutely ran away. And we can't blame him, ladies and gentlemen. He's done quite a good job securing that 1-2 for the FTK team. Let's also look here at the Venus CRD team one more time. Base Cannon. Look at that, crossing the line to go on to his 35th lap, I believe. Yes, 35th lap for him. 35th lap of the race. A driver that has not been lapped by Jawa, which, to be honest today, a few can say, but not many. Jawa's been electric. But the Venus CRD team doing very, very well to secure those other two spots. That 3-4. Those are going to be crucial points going into the rest of the season. No doubt it's going to be a close one. I don't think that you need me to tell you that, to be 100% honest, ladies and gentlemen. As we wind down Miami here, if you enjoy this, if you want to see another race from these drivers, remember they will be in Imola in 2 weeks' time. So if that's something you think you want to see, then you should remember to tune in same time, same day of the week, just 2 weeks from now as we wind down towards the end of this race. Let's see if we can find some on-track action. Alan Montez, followed quite closely by Mogo, who we haven't seen in a while, that DHL Jordan racing driver. A couple of the mistakes very early on in the race. Had a little bit of issues with some spins and some contact, but he's looking to cling onto the back of Alan Montez, wondering if he can get himself into the top 10 today. And his partner, P9 in the DHL Racing, and the DHL Jordan Racing, Matthias. Another driver thinking about what if the battles hadn't happened, if the contact hadn't happened, but he's shown an outstanding show for us today. So all the same, good show, boys. Marcus Gilbertson rounding out the pack here, P12. Again, another driver thinking if we hadn't had the contact, if we hadn't had some of the spins, what could have happened for us today? But involved in some absolutely cutthroat battles, that's to say the least. So absolutely our heart and our applause goes out to everybody on the grid today, because they've done an absolute electric job. P11 and 10, still quite close to each other. It's not gonna be too far between the two. Let's see if these two are able to come together towards the end of the race. It'll be interesting to see that, to say the least. Articulate Fox moving into a solid P6 as well. Another driver who got into some cutthroat battles today. A little bit of contact going in to that chicane earlier, and I know he'll be thinking about that. Moving back to our 11 and 10 drivers, let's see if they come together at all. Seems like something may come down to the last lap between these two, maybe a little bit of pressure as we follow Mogo right on the back of Alan Montez. Jawa crossing the line now, starting the last lap of the race. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if Mogo can end up being a last lap legend onto the main straight. He is within a second as he crosses that DRS. You see him, he's already looking for that move, trying to get into Alan Montez's head, moving down the inside, but nothing doing here for Mogo. Trying to keep it clean, a little bit of lag there. Looked like he might have brushed the wall, might have gotten away with it. Crossing on to the final lap. Jawa now getting closer and closer to the second sector for the last lap of the race. Let's keep our eyes on him. And Mogo desperately trying to get onto the back of Alan Montez. As you see, the cars flashing there, so he's having a little bit of internet trouble, but he's still going to be wanting to take that place off of Alan Montez. Alan running away from this driver. He does not want to get into any last lap battles. But I think we are safe for now. We'll keep an eye on this. Let's move on to our P1. Jawa for the FTK Racing team has done an absolutely outstanding drive today. Oh, and it looks like we have Matthias there going slowly, just letting Jawa by. Jawa has had an absolutely electric race today. It's been Jawa's race since the lights went out. He's taken the fastest lap from Base Cannon, and that will be Jawa across the line to win the Miami GP for the first and the opening race of the F1 season for Real Amateur Racing. Jawa, an absolutely outstanding job to you. Now, as some of these drivers cross the line, it will be a little bit out of order, so do not mind the leaderboard, but we know El Garrido with a great P2. We saw him there earlier. Again, do not mind the leaderboard. I will also be struggling with this. Now let's hop back down with Mogo to see if he was able to pass Alan. I am not sure, and I don't think so from what I can tell, but I will always have to double check. But we know that top spots in the grid should be, yes, as they read here, Jawa P1, El Garrido taking that P2. A beautiful weekend for the FTK Racing team. Base Cannon with an amazing P3. A great job to him for the Venus CRD, followed by his teammate Chloroform, another Venus CRD driver who's done an absolutely outstanding job. Applause to them all around as we have our standings here are finally up to date as we are along with Base Cannon. Then we had Clutch Russ rounding out P5, followed by Articulate Fox, both of those drivers having quite a good day. Sebastian taking P7, Brett Anderson taking P8, Matthias for the DHL Jordan team taking that P9, and Mogo rounding out that top 10. Looks like Alan Montez may have actually finished outside of the top 10. I'm not sure if he had an incident or maybe there was something going on there. I'm just checking the live timing to see if maybe there's a contradiction in the live timing screen. I actually do think that there is, so apologies for any mess-ups, but that'll be Clutch Russ P5, Articulate Fox P6, and they're on so forth. As they disconnect, I'm actually not able to see their positions anymore. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute killer of a race today. Like I said, if you enjoyed it, then you will see us again 2 weeks time at Imola. And so I hope you enjoy your time with us today, and I hope you will enjoy your time with us then. Thank you for watching. Congratulations to the podium drivers, and we hope to see some close racing once again in 2 weeks time. Thank you guys, and thank you to Tekly Racing for putting this on as well, and Real Amateur Racing, the racing series. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their day, night, or evening. I will see you guys another time.